it don't matter, I'm gonna play the role. She's my beauty, she's my queen. I told her I'll be king. I promise not to leave the throne. Won't take advantage of your love. I'm someone you can trust. You're never weak. I see you strong.
Good evening.
And is it me you love?
Thank you for joining the Fireside Chat this evening right here on IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host and Lioness Queen Sister V. I am live here today, ready to discuss the topic, Mama's Baby and Daddy's Maybe. I'm running a little late today, so more than likely I'm going to have to speed up a little bit. I may not get a chance to get to everything, but I'm going to hit the key points I came to hit, and I'm out of here. All right. So I am, first of all, I'm amazed at God, His goodness, how He will um, call me to mass communications with the hearing impairment. God got a sense of humor, but I believe that God have a way of disrupting our comfort and causing us to have to lean and depend on Him for everything that we need, because it's very easy to get comfortable with our know-how and things that we know so well, and say it'll cripple us in life from trying new things, from being flexible, and ultimately causing us to kind of create our own thing and go our own way. So I am wanting to today, I'm trying to see how I want to go. Um, I wanted to talk about the story in, what is it, First Kings 3:16 through 28, when the judge, Solomon the king, had to make a wise decision for two prostitute women that got pregnant. And one of them rolled over, slept on her baby, and the baby died. And so she went over to the other lady and got her baby that was alive and switched the babies out to make her think that her baby was the one that died. But the baby that lived belonged to the woman that was swapped, that she had swapped it out. But when they got before the judge, she tried to argue that that was her son. I wish I could find it real quick because it's real interesting and it's very short story. Anywho, while I'm looking for that, I wanted to begin to talk about mama's baby daddy's maybe right here on intellectualradio.com. I often try to get into topics that I know we need to talk about, but we don't talk about it. And a lot of times we don't talk about it is because these conversations are hard to have. And, most of us fear the movement of the gang, where you feel like, people going to gang up against you about your opinion. Okay. But at the end of the day, if we keep saying we won't help, then we can't fight the help because the help don't sound and look like what we want it to be. Or how about the help sometimes hurt a little bit and we don't like it. Okay. Um, but it's all good. So here I am today. It's been a very interesting week. I wanted to make sure I mention my sponsor, Maria's Homemade Catering, where you can taste the quality in every bite. She do cater to both Wisconsin and the Chicago area. She asks for 72 hours notice for her Chicagoans. She was born and raised right in Chicago, so of course she's gonna serve her people. Her email address, you can hit her up to place an order, is Mocha, MochaChoc. That's Mocha Choc 79 at yahoo.com. That's Mocha Choc 79 at yahoo.com. You can hit her up and place an order for your next wonderful event, and you will not be disappointed. So, I want to talk about, as a lioness, I carry a burden for kings and cubs, men and children. I belong to a pride, and I'm not the first lioness, and I won't be the last. My mother in the faith told me a few years ago that the compassion that I have for king's men, that it remind her of Reverend Consuela York. And so I didn't know who she was. And I went and I looked her up. And sure enough, I say, oh my God. I was so intrigued by this woman. I was so intrigued by this woman and her love for our men, our kings. She was known as, uh, affectionately known as Mother Consuela York. She was assigned by God to our kings who were incarcerated, and she was known as the jailhouse preacher. I've been reading about her life, and for those who don't know, I want to read a little bit of her story really quickly. Like I said, I'm running behind today, so I don't have a lot of time. But I want to make sure that I get to this because I was so inspired. When God set me here as a lioness, January 2024, he did let me know that there was going to be a roar go out over the airways, and it was going to invoke a response. And when I tell you, I keep seeing the response, and I'm really encouraged to keep on keeping on. And anybody know me? I'm not a fearful woman. Lionesses are brave. And so I'm not afraid to go into man caves and, sit down and talk with the brothers, which God will allow them to become very vulnerable with me. He will allow them to come into spaces and cry, and talk about the things that bother them. And so I just want to I'm going to get to that right quick. Let me go ahead and read a little bit about I want to pay homage to the late great Reverend jailhouse preacher Consuela York. This woman got the strong trait of a lioness. She was at them jails. I saw pictures of her at the jails, feeding them, praying for them, preaching to them, ministering to them, and loving on them. And it just blessed my whole heart to see this woman of God. Black History Month was celebrating her legacy. Consuela York, she was born in 1923. She passed away in 1995. She was known as the jailhouse preacher, like I forestated. Throughout her 4 decades of service, Mother York embodied the qualities calling men and women to repentance, delivering messages of hope and forgiveness while demonstrating compassion and acceptance. Dressed in somber clerical garments and armed with a fat Bible and ready prayers, York addressed more than just spiritual needs in Cook County jails. Her visits also ministered to inmates' maternal needs in the form of candy, home cooked meals, toiletries, and sometimes just a listening ear. The many cards, drawings, and personal messages from inmates held in the archives reveal the deep affection and respect Mother York earned from the incarcerated men and women she befriended. Her approach to prison service combined high standards for discipline while exuding compassion and recognizing the human dignity of every inmate she encountered. And y'all, it just blessed me to know this woman served the Cook County Jail, the men in there for 43 years, her service. This archives and Whedon.edu. In case you want to go on there and read about her, when I tell you it has been empowering to me as a lioness to know that this woman carries such a burden to see men get help in the jail. And it's just something that I believe um that's missing in this day, when it come down to actually laying down your life for somebody else and actually showing up and being that light of hope in the darkest times of somebody's life. It takes a lot to do that. So I just wanted to give homage and honor to that great lioness that has went on to be with the Lord. But back to my topic. um, I am very, very, very passionate about family. And I forestated that before. God has expanded my borders, and whatever He want me to do, He gonna tell me to do. I'm leaving the what, when, where, and how, and why in his hands. Just like the song say, all in his hands. I put it all in his hands. I ain't worried about how it's going to happen, what's going to happen. I just know that he's giving me instructions on what to do concerning men, and I'm going to obey him to the full because I believe the hour has come and God has prepared them. He has made them ready to receive. They are tired, they're weary, and it is their hour. It has come. And I am so full of joy right now. I don't know what to do. I was like, God, you got it in your hands, like the song say, no matter the problem, no matter the question, it's all in his hands. Whatever he want to do, God, me and you, we gonna get this done. And whatever way he lead me, that's the way I'm going. So I wanted to really quick tap into this topic real quick. Probably got about a good 15, 20 minutes to talk about this on today. I have not been able to pull up the story on the women, the two prostitutes. And when it's like this, I just kind of flow with my heart because I believe it be intentional. Okay. So one of the things that was mentioned in the man cave, and see, ladies, I think it's an honor and a privilege when a man can be vulnerable in the man cave and they go to talking about things and they feel safe enough to say what's in their hearts. And then we on the other end that is listening, bless you, Mel, but thank you for joining me. I miss seeing you in the chat, woman of God, preaching hard. I love you. So today I'm talking about mama's baby, daddy's maybe. As we know, you know, we live in a society where the government will give a single mother false empowerment and make her believe that it's my baby. This is my baby. What you talking about? Your voice as a father is limited. This is my baby. But if we pay attention to the fruit, bless you. If we pay attention to the fruit from these mama's babies. Hi, Shemaya. Thank you for joining. If we pay attention to the fruit of these mama's baby that we see walking around downtown, raising all kind of hell, jumping on cars and doing all that kind of stuff, that it has been declared, this is mama's baby. Okay. This my baby. Until it's time for them baby to have a need or some child support to be paid. Now is what you gonna do for your kids. But because I often engage men, I have to come back because here's the thing. I ain't scared of y'all. Okay, let's just say that. I'm not scared of y'all. Some of them be quiet because they know if I open my mouth and say something, it's going to be a problem. If I open my mouth and say something, it can cost me a visit with my child. If I open my mouth and say something, she going to start something and now the man have to be on the end of what happens if I make her mad and then she turn this kid against me. And now my kid ain't answering the phone or, she denied me access because I pushed the button. It just should not be. It just should not be. So sitting amongst them and listening to their cry, because that's what it be. It's so sad to me that the kid always be the collateral damage. Okay. Mama, it is not just your baby. It is not just your baby. She might text your mama. It is not just your baby. Tell I'm live. We again, the accountability. That's what they all say to me. All of them say women don't like accountability. And I be like, man, like, what does that look like for them? What does they look like for them? What are they experiencing? First of all, we're not going to even go to the fact that sometimes, you know, it's very iffy because I know the place that is obvious. You must be going to the point that some kids born and the mama don't know who the daddy is. No. Or daddy ran off as mama's baby, daddy's maybe because maybe daddy show up and maybe he won't. And some will say, well, why don't you wait till Father's Day? Well, I'm not waiting till Father's Day. Where is it written that I have to wait till Father's Day to talk about this kind of stuff? Father's Day gonna have a man of his own when that time come around from the guys. We'll deal with that then. But right now, I hope y'all had a wonderful Mother's Day. I hope everything went well. I hope that you really enjoyed yourself because I know I did. But we don't pay attention to when we say my baby in a way that maybe he gonna have a say, maybe he not. Maybe I'll be able to be a father, maybe I won't be able to be the father I want to be. Because you know how many times I hear them say, I want to do this and that. She won't let me. She won't let me do this. She won't let me do that. She won't allow me to do this for my kid. It ain't just your baby. It is not just your baby. It's his child too. And it should not be where the child got to grow up and show you I'm not just your child. And looking at Tyrese Gibson, the famous singer, looking at his life, it's very clear that mama, sometimes when we saying my baby, that baby is weaponized and used to hurt their dad. We don't want to be real about that, but it's very true. I've done it as a young lady, and that's why I believe that I'm able to break through with them because I be honest. They talked about that. Women lie too much. They don't like to be accountable, and we don't feel appreciated for what we do, and we are often overlooked. When we find out that our manipulation tactic is not going to work, then we weaponize the child. Say, this is my baby. This my baby. It ain't going nowhere. You ain't doing this with my baby. Come on, we gotta make up in our mind what we're gonna do. Because we can't a side of us crowd and say, well, we don't have no men and no fathers showing up and doing X, Y, Z, Y, Z, and then we can't get our way. It's my baby. That's not gonna work. We got to decide. You know why God is raising up lionesses? It's because he want his kings back in their place. That's why he doing that. He want his kings back in their place. But in order for that to happen, we want that, but we don't like what's coming along with that. And what's coming along with that is us having to get low. And that's something we don't like to do. Because we feel like, I got something to say, my voice, and it does. It's not to say that your voice don't matter. Because our voice do matter. But where it counts, we fall short. Like when it's time to unite, like when it's time for us to get out of our feelings and actually become a team player. I'm trying to tell y'all what's getting ready to happen. And I'm also going to share some things that they say, oh my God, y'all, sitting in the gym, they, don't you know, as a lioness, all I have to do is appear. That's all I have to do. I don't got none special to do. I don't have no special nothing to say, none of that. All I have to do is appear. And they get started. And one of the things they say a lot of times is that, I take care of my child, but I know I don't have the same access. I know even though I do all I can for my child, I know that I don't have access like I want to have. I know that if I make her mad, she is going to deny me access. So when we see the statistics about, the fatherless homes and ain't no fathers in the house. Can I tell y'all what's really standing in between a lot of stuff? And I'm talking about because I was her. I was that troublesome baby mama. I was the one that would put up a fight. I was her. And let me tell you something. What that do is, y'all, we get that false sense of empowerment. We feel like we got all the power because we the mama, because the government tell us that. we get to a place in parenting where we realize we can't do it all by ourselves. So in this situation, what I was talking about in the story in Kings, which is crazy, y'all, how I can't get to this. I'm so very sorry right now because I really wanted to get to this. I really did. We was talking about this woman, these two prostitutes. Well, one told the other lady, "No, your baby dead, my baby alive." But the moral of the story was that this what it came down to. So you had two prostitutes, and I'm going over this again. You had two prostitutes that had babies in the house. One of the mothers supposedly went to sleep on her baby and killed them. Woke up when he got the other baby and switched them out and told the other lady, "Your baby died." Hey, Sister Stewart. I had already been on here and announced your homemade catering business. So I'm talking about First Kings 3:16 through 28. I'm trying to get to it because we have to see how deceitful women can be sometimes. And we don't see how deceitful we can be sometimes. Right? We don't see that. So here you go, y'all. Here you go. I found it. I got to read it real quick. Now, two prostitutes came to the king and stood before him. One of them said, "Pardon me, my lord. This woman and I live in the same house, and I had a baby while she was there with me. The third day, after my child was born, this woman also had a baby 3 days later. We were alone, with nobody else in the house with them. During the night, this woman's son died because she laid on him. She got up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side while your servant was asleep." So while the other one was asleep, she took the baby from her. "She put him by her breast and put her dead son by my breast." So she switched out the dead baby for the live baby to the other lady and put him under her breast. "So the next morning, I got up to nurse my son, and he was dead. But when I looked at him closely in the morning light, I saw that it wasn't the son I had born." She knew that wasn't her son. She knew that wasn't her son. The other woman said, "No, the living one is my son. The dead one is yours." But the first one insisted. So they going back and forth before the king. You know what they was there for? Justice. You know what our men want from us when it comes to their kids? Justice, which just means fairness. I just want you to be fair, baby mama, mother of my children, because that's my baby. No, it's our baby. Then the king said, "Bring me the sword." Now the king using wisdom at this point now, because he see they going back and forth. "No, the living baby is mine. No, the dead." Okay, he said, "Okay, let's do this then." The king said, "Bring me the sword." So they brought a sword for the king and then gave an order. He said, "Cut the living child in two and give half to one and half to the other." The woman whose son was alive was deeply moved out of love for her son. The woman whose son it really was so moved with compassion. She didn't want her son to die. So she said, "The woman whose son," he said, "the woman whose son this is," no, he said, "I'm going to cut the baby in half." The woman whose son was alive, who knew that that was her baby, out of love for her son, said to the king, "Please, my lord, give her the living baby. Don't kill him." The woman whose son it was didn't care if the baby was going to the mama who lied on her and said it was her baby. She just didn't want nothing bad to happen to the baby. And I want to tell mothers that if you really love your child and you don't want to see them hurt in no type of way, we know we're not talking about dead children in this episode, thank God. But I'm just mirroring the deceitful heart versus the pure heart. The other one, she say, "Please don't kill him." Please don't let my baby be harmed, even if it ain't fit to be with me. But the other one said, check the other one out. That said, neither I nor you shall have him. Told the king, cut the baby in two. The king gave his ruling. Give the living baby to the first woman. Do not kill him. She is the mother. How did he know that she was the mother? Because she didn't care about whether he was going to give her to that other one that wasn't even his mother. As long as the baby was okay. But the judge ruled in her favor because he seen the cry of this mother's heart was for her baby to be okay, even if the baby wasn't going to be in her care. And we got to check our heart for deceit to find out, am I willing to let my child suffer if it ever be that the dad had an upper hand? If the dad win in court, if because the baby want to get old and go to the dad, are you saying I'm gonna stop supporting you? Don't call me when you need something since you wanted to go be with your daddy. Now you wanted to go be with your dad. Why is it a competition? All this stuff just goes on in and around us. And because there's no real accountability, because everybody feel the same way, that's your baby. You do what you want to do. Who we think he is. Now we know in certain cases things have to be how they have to be. Come on, let's not be down in the basement where we're gonna go back and forth about, well, what if he's abusive? Or what if he's you know, we know we have to do what we gotta do. But I'm saying, what happens to us on the inside when it's not gonna be looked at like these my babies or my baby? What happens when dad get himself together and step up to the plate and say, listen, this my child too. And I said, I don't want my little girl like Miss Shirley walking around here shaking her booty all over the internet. We're going to say, this is my baby. You don't tell me what to do. Yeah, until we need a protector. We only want them to show up when we need something from them, when we need provision or we need protection. That's the only time. Hi, Tony, my sister, my girl, my brother. What's up, Chi-Town? So mama's baby daddy's maybe he's going to be allowed to be a father. Maybe he ain't. Huh? Maybe we're going to interfere with the relationship when it don't work in our favor. When we can no longer manipulate them with sex no more. When they get on their feet and find them a real good woman going to stick by them despite of them having kids and still build with them. We turn, don't we? Uh-huh. I don't expect nobody to say amen. And I'm not talking about y'all in chat. I'm saying, I know. Our brothers have to carry the burden. I'm telling y'all, Tony, you got to hear this, girl. So I was hanging out with the fellas, right? We was kicking it. And, most of them are trainers. They look good. Okay? Real good. And the women come in the gym looking like, they finna go shoot some type of film. And by me being over on the side where they be, the women that's in there parading around, they don't hear what the conversation is being said. But I'm so grateful that me hanging around them give me a chance to get unfiltered, pure thoughts from them because I don't have no motive. So they feel free to talk. So they weren't the woman walking back and forth, flouncing everywhere, doing whatever. And he said, we don't they say when we see women doing that make us think they ain't got nothing to offer us. We don't like that. Like we'll play with it and entertain it, but we don't wanna. They're like, we tired of that. We tired of women doing that. And I was like, wow. So I want to encourage my sisters that's being kept. and you feel like you overlooked and ain't nobody, keep doing what you're doing because they said we tired of that. We said we don't care what they put on, how they come in here and flounce, do whatever, whatever. We tired of it. So be mindful, women, of how you carry yourself because guess what? Only a lady gonna attract a gentleman. And I'll say this before I close because I had to cut my show in half today because I was running late due to having some issues, y'all. But I still wanted to make it. Somebody say I don't like it either. Yeah, they say they're not looking for that. They say they don't want it. They say they want the mystery woman. They want the one that's saying, nah, no, thank you. So, women, let's be mindful. Let's stay in the area of accountability. If you know that you trying to lord over that child and use that child as a weapon to hurt that man, you're doing that child a disservice. And what you think is your baby, the script gonna flip when they get older. You ain't gonna keep that power you got, my baby. I get to do everything with this child and lead a dad out. With Father's Day approaching, let's sow a seed and let's do something different this year. Okay, because just the difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day, that's an injustice all by itself. But we ain't gonna talk about that today because my time is almost up. I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining. I may come on and do a part 2 later, and go more in depth. But I just wanted to drop that little bit on y'all, give y'all something to think about. I'll see y'all soon. Have a great evening. I love y'all.
She's that flower that I picked up out the garden when the others didn't want to grow.
Ooh, that was sloppy to me.
She's my Gina, she's my Vivian.